Hi, I'm Darnell with Wave Over Recipes, and this is my review of the Ninja NeverStick Belgian Waffle Maker Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and get it unboxed and bring you right back. Alright, so now that things are unboxed, let me show you everything that it comes with. It comes with a little paperwork here, there's the manual, and then there's their inspiration guide where they basically have some recipes and things for you here. So it's not very big, but let me see if I can get it open. Yeah, they have like some recipes of waffles and some pictures here and there. I mean, it's like 15 pages total. So up front, it just kind of gives you some general guidance, kind of like what you'd also find in the manual as well, until it shows you a picture of how the different shades look. And it also comes with a fill cup. And this fill cup, I'll show you in a close-up later. It's got a couple of fill lines, but it's basically a cup max. And they say that even though the amount that you'll have to pour in, depending on your waffle and its ingredients, it may vary, you should never use more than 1 cup regardless of what type of waffle you're making and the ingredients that are involved in it. Now I want to show you also the power plug. It's a 32-inch cord and it's a 3-prong plug. Nice job there, Ninja. 1,000 watt cooker, and so at 1,000 watts you'd want to be careful of anything else being on the same circuit, because another 800 watts and you're up to the max. So you want to try and be careful of that, and you know, it may be best not to have anything else on the same circuit, or if there is, something very, very low wattage, just to be careful so you don't blow the circuit. Now as far as the plates that come with this waffle maker, and I'll give you a close-up in a bit, they're not removable, and they say that they do use PTFE in the coating for the waffle maker's plates, so that's something to keep in mind. Now when it comes to waffle ingredients that you use in this waffle maker, they say that you should only use like powders and batters and flavors, but you shouldn't use any sort of solid mix-ins. Don't try and do any like sprinkles and chips or nuts or anything like that. No solid type of mix-ins should go into the waffle maker, is their recommendation. Now for the dimensions of this waffle maker, it's 7.72 inches in length by 6.57 inches in width by 11.98 inches in height. And they say that you should give 6 inches all around and above this waffle maker. They want it to have good airflow all around. Now they caution that you should not use any cooking spray like aerosol cooking sprays on this waffle maker. And I personally use like extra light olive oil. Don't confuse that with extra virgin or other types of olive oil. It has a very high smoke point. But extra light olive oil and a pump spray is what I use. Or you can use a brush, or you can just pour some oil on a clean paper towel and rub it on the plates before you start heating it up and cooking your waffle. However you want to get the oil on the plate, on the plates, make sure there's just a high smoke point oil that you use and that you put in here, but don't use the aerosol type stuff. And this waffle maker weighs just 5.7 pounds. Now I'm going to go deeper into the review of this waffle maker, and my reviews go pretty deep. So I do want to remind you that as we get into this, there's the timestamps feature if you want to jump to a different point that you might prefer to see. There's also the timestamps in the video description if you want to use that method also. And also here on the channel, there are over 900 videos of over 100 different types of countertop appliances. So there's plenty here for you to enjoy. Alright, so now I'm giving you a closer up view of the waffle maker, and so I'll just kind of show you around it a bit. So you can see the back and see the side here, and then we're back up front, and you see there's the control here for shades and such. We'll discuss that more in a moment. But there's basically, to open it up, there's a button right here. You press that and then it comes down, and so you see inside of here the waffle grooves there where it makes the waffles up, and you basically pour your batter in through the hole here. It's a stand-up type of waffle maker, so a little different design there. And I want to show you the cup, give you a closer up view of the cup. There's inside of it, there's like a line right there. That's 3/4, or that's considered 3/4, that inner groove right there, the very top is a full cup. The very top is 1 cup. So they basically say you don't ever want to put in any more than the top of it there. Also just show you underneath of the waffle maker there. So got a good look at it all around. Now I want to do some measurements. So I'm going to start with the height overall. And we see that it's a little over 11.5 inches. So about spec there. For this way, we've got, let's see, yeah, that's under 7.5 inches there. And I'm going to turn it this way, kind of give you a look at the size this way. We have, well, hold on. Yeah, we have under 6 inches there. So that's pretty good. Now I'm going to measure inside in the waffle maker. We go side to side this way, we are looking at 6 inches. We go up and down this way, we are looking at 6 inches. And diagonally, we get about 8. So that's basically the size of your waffles there. It's going to be about 6 by 6 from what I can measure there. Now for comparison, I've got the Ninja next to the Bella Flip and Store waffle maker. Full review of this is here on the channel. And the Flip and Store, it's kind of like you open it up, you put your batter in, and you flip things this way to let it cook, and you get your waffle on out, and you can see maybe some oil dripping because I keep it oiled up. I have used it some. And so basically after you flip it, you get your waffle out of there. And so you see that it has what they call a ceramic coating. That's just really another chemical coating as opposed to the NeverStick style coating. It's not like ceramic pot type ceramic, so don't confuse it with that. It's just what I consider a marketing term. So you see basically for size, the size of the two waffle makers together. One's round, one's more square. And of course with the Ninja, you're going to pour all your batter in and just have it setting up the whole time till you're done and then pop it open. Whereas this one you pour it in, and as I showed you, kind of flip it back to the other way for it to cook evenly. Alright, so now I've got the Ninja next to the all-clad stainless steel waffle maker. Full review of this is also on the channel. With the all-clad, when you open up, you can see it's just a way larger waffle maker than the Ninja. I mean, it's just way bigger. The all-clad's plates are removable for cleaning. The Ninja's plates are not removable. The all-clad is a 1600 watt waffle maker, and so you know, you can make much bigger waffles with it. And even though I will say, even though the all-clad is a 1600 watt waffle maker, it takes a long time for these plates to warm up. You can see it in the initial review, but it takes a long time for these plates to warm up and for it to make a waffle. But it does make very deep groove Belgian waffles. It's just that it's, you know, bigger, and so it's heating up a lot more surface area. It's making much larger waffles, and so, you know, that's why it's 1600 watts, but it still takes a while to heat things up. And it's also got in the back, it's got like a overflow catcher, so you put like this little cup here in the back and you catch your overflow that spills out of the back of the waffle maker. So it just gives you some comparison there of a couple of waffle makers with this Ninja. So now I've got you a close-up view of the control knob there, and so now I want to just quickly talk to you about the functions before getting things plugged in. But basically, of course, there's the off function for things to be completely off. And then there's a specialty option. That specialty option is to gently cook batters with a higher sugar content, like banana bread, cake they say, or brownie waffles they say. Basically, something with a higher sugar content is going to cause more smoke, and so you want to use that specialty option if you got anything that's real sugary or might get smoky. Next is the number 1 and the number 2 option. And number 1 and 2 are like light brown and slightly crispy. Then there's the number 3. Number 3 is for golden brown and crispy. Then there's number 4 and number 5, and those are for dark brown and extra crunchy. And there'll be two lights that'll light up here when we get it plugged in. The first light is a green light that'll light up when the preheat is finished or when it's done cooking a waffle. The other one is a red light that will light up when it's preheating or it's in the process of cooking. Alright, so I'm about to get things plugged in, and before I do, I want to mention that they say that before you use it, you should wash the plates and you should do a 5 to 10 minute burn off before you make any waffles in it. So I guess some of this testing here will suffice as mine. I've already cleaned the plates off. And so plugging it in, and I'm going to turn to the number 3 setting, because when I actually make a waffle, it'll be at that setting, the golden brown, and we'll see how that goes. But we see that the light for it being involved in a preheat has lit up, and so we're going to go ahead and let things warm up there for a bit. Alright, so things have fully preheated, so we see that the green light came on there and it did a beep for us to let us know. And so I'm just going to do some feeling around here now. Things feel really cool here. Everything here is cool, so that's all cool. Feeling right here. It's not hot. I mean, I can keep my hand there. That's cool. It's totally cool. On the back, same deal. It's very cool. Over here, it's cool. Over there, it's a little warmer over there. Up top here, it's hot. You can, I don't want to touch it. You can feel the heat coming out. So that's pretty nice, though, that it's like cool touch all around here. Even though, it's super hot inside. It's just heat on the top there. Alright, so now I've got a thermal imaging camera here. And we can see that it confirms that things are very cool on the front there. Just heat on the top. So we see over the top, the max is like in the 300 degree range. And we see over here, I guess right there in the groove, I guess I didn't touch right there in that groove, but things are really hot right there in the groove. And that's all. Then the back, we see the same deal. So it's just really just on the side grooves where it's really extra hot. So that's a pretty nice thermal image of things. And I'm going to do one other thing with the thermal imaging camera here. I'm going to open it up and just see what it reads, fully on the plates open. So open it up here, and it's got a calibrate, and so there it goes, it's got it. And we're looking at about above 350. Somewhere a little above 350 is the max. So, and you see the hot spots on the plates. So that gives you a thermal view of things inside. Now before I actually make a waffle, I'm going to just spray the plates with some oil. So this is a hand pump sprayer, not a like aerosol can sprayer. So let things just continue to heat up while it's kind of doing its burn off there, but we'll let it continue. And now those plates have some oil on them for some seasoning. Alright, so I've let things season for a moment, and I've got my almond flour whole wheat waffle batter here. I'll flash the recipe on the screen. I did have to water this down a bit because you want a batter that's runny enough to be able to pour from this cup quickly into the waffle maker. You should have something that pours in slow, and they say you might not get as even a waffle if your batter is like too thick. So I had to water it down a bit. They say you can use some water or some milk of your choice to basically whatever you need to do to make it so that it'll pour in quickly and be kind of runny there. So I'm just trying to get the cup kind of full here. I won't have a lot of time to determine if I got enough, but we're just going to go for it and see what happens. Alright, so I poured the full cup in there. They say you really should kind of test it out, put a little bit in, or put like maybe 3/4 in and see how that goes for your waffle or what have you, but I just wanted to go for the whole cup. From what I can see so far, it's not coming up out of the top yet. It is enough, I think, that it's got it full there, so we're just going to let this waffle cook for a while and we'll see what happens. Alright, so it's all done. So I'm going to open up and see what I got. Alright, so you see my completed waffle here, and I guess, you know, it's like it's done, but you can see, I'm trying to tilt it a little bit, you can see, I guess, I didn't get some of the upper part there, but all the same, it's still, you know, a completed waffle. So let's get it out of here, close things back up. And so you can see the finished waffle, and it looks pretty nice. Looks pretty nice. So let me show you the other side. It did cook it perfectly even. Well, not perfectly. It looks like it's a little more done on this side. Well, maybe it is perfectly even. Yeah, I guess it is. You tell me what you think. I was wondering if the back was a little less done than the, well, this side was done a little less done than the front, but I guess it is pretty even. Yeah, I mean, it's fairly even. Let me try and just chop into it and we'll see what it looks like inside. So inside here, you see things are fully cooked in there. So it is able to fully cook up your waffle. Alright, so let's talk about cleaning the waffle maker, and this one has some interesting information from Ninja in regards to cleaning it, and so we'll get into that in a moment. But they say that you should clean it after every session of waffle making. You should unplug it, let it cool down before cleaning. You should use a warm soapy dishcloth to clean, and then a wet one to wipe things off, and then you can dry things off after that. Don't use anything abrasive, and never submerge the waffle maker in water. Of course, never put it in the dishwasher. And they say if something gets stuck in a groove, then you can wrap a dish rag around a non-metal utensil, and you can use it to kind of like knock it out if there's anything stuck in. And they say, and this is the interesting part, they say if you get the waffle maker wet, I guess like if you get more than just washing the plates off, you get the waffle maker wet to the point that maybe some water got inside of it or something, they say that you should immediately unplug the unit, and they say that you should wipe it dry with a cloth, and then they say do not use the unit for at least 1 week to allow internal components to dry. I have never before this seen a waffle maker where if it got wet you were suggested to not use it for a full week to allow the internal components to dry. So that's very interesting. So let's talk about the warranty. The waffle maker comes with a 1-year limited warranty, and so that's pretty much the standard from Ninja. And so we see that it's able to cook up the waffles, and I guess you have to play with your ingredients and kind of trial and error and see how waffles turn out for you to get the what you might consider perfect waffle from this waffle maker. But it is able to cook up the waffle makers, and didn't really seem like anything stuck on really. So it is a NeverStick type of a coating, and so that's kind of interesting there. And so in the video description there are lots of ways to help the channel. Nothing in my videos is sponsored, nothing given to me or anything like that. And also you can check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. Again, that's superwaveovenrecipes.com. In the video description there's things like the link to the Amazon shop where you pay the same price, help the channel. Also my cookbook, merch, membership, donations, buy me a coffee as well. And so there's lots of ways there for you to help out. And so with all of that said, if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and good eating.